So, a friend of mine and I were having a conversation about God and religion. Um, I don't think I'm gonna go too deep into this, because I know that it's a very sensitive subject, and as much as I enjoy pushing people's buttons, I'm gonna try to refrain from that today. Um, but we were talking about the different types of religion. Like, she was talking about that she was Christian, not Catholic, but Christian, and I told her that I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. And she was asking me questions about what Jehovah's Witnesses believed and all that kind of stuff, and I answered all those questions. And she knew that I was atheist, and she was just asking more questions, which I don't mind because I enjoy when people ask me questions that make me think. And she said something that kind of like it struck a chord with me, and it actually like made me think. And her question was, or her statement was, what kind of God do you worship? And it was something along the roundabout of that. And I was talking about that, I was taught that God is all knowing, all seeing. So therefore, why would he give us something that would cause us to potentially have destruction? Which I was talking about free will at the time. And she brought up, well, it depends on what type of God you worship. And she's like, do you believe that God is caring and compassionate, or do you believe that God is vengeful? And that statement got me thinking, how many gods do people think that there are? And why is it left up to just your interpretation? And I say that because I always was taught that God is compassionate, he's loving, he loves everybody, he wants no war, no violence, he just wants peace and happiness from the people who believe in him and who have faith in him. And when she said, do you believe that God is either compassionate or do you believe that he's vengeful? I was like, holy crap, like there are people out there that believe that God is vengeful. And I totally forgot about that line of thought. And that boggles my mind, because a compassionate God looks for peace. A vengeful God is looking for revenge. He doesn't shun away from war. He doesn't shun away from an eye for an eye. If someone hurts you, you hurt them right back. It's not about forgiveness. It's about getting your justice and your own form of justice in a sense. And I mean, it's my own line of thought, so I could be totally off base. I totally could be, and I have no shame in saying that. This is just my opinion from the conversation that we had. If you believe that God is vengeful, then clearly that's where the idea of people burning in hell is coming from. And war is coming from. And vigilante justice is coming from. Like it stems down so far. Like, it's crazy how far this can stem down to. And you can pretty much justify almost every single action by saying, I believe in God. Or my beliefs led me to this. And I mean, I'm not saying that it's like all, and I'm using quotes here, God's fault. I'm not going to say that. But your line of thinking is what pushes you to act accordingly. So if you're a religious person who goes to church and believes in a vengeful God, there's two ways in my mind that can be taken. You either take it as God will exact justice for you, or God is endorsing you to exact your own justice. And that's wild to me. Like that's crazy. Now, before we started the conversation, I told her, and I tell everybody this who wants to have a conversation about beliefs, about religion, about anything, hey man, you believe whatever it is you want to believe. I'm not trying to convince you to be atheist. I don't want you to convince me to believe in God. I believe in what I believe, and it makes me feel like I am a better person. I am not harming anybody. I'm actually trying to understand people more. I'm willing to have conversations with people. I'm willing to pick their brain, and I hope that they're willing to pick mine. And in exchange, I expect kind of the same thing from people. It's the people that tell me that I'm evil and I'm a bad person because I don't believe. I don't mock people who go to church. I don't mock people that believe in God. I believe in human beings. I believe in energy. I believe in the earth. I believe in existence of things. I believe in science. I don't have to believe in a omnipotent, omnipresent being that quote unquote created everything and exacts judgment on me and has to judge every little thing that I do. Because in my mind, if God is all-knowing and all-powerful, it really doesn't matter what the fuck I do because he already knows what I'm gonna do from the get-go. So it's kind of like, why do I even bother? And I've gotten into it, and I don't want to say gotten into it because it sounds negative, but I've had discussions with people who are still Jehovah's Witnesses, people who are Catholic, people who are Baptist, people who are Southern Baptist, and people who are Jewish, and everybody has their own beliefs, but I mean, that's just how I look at it. And the other thing that I told her is that, there are billions of people on this planet. What makes you think that out of all the religions in all the areas of this planet, you were somehow born in the States or the UK, wherever you were, and your parents just happened to bring you to this church and brought you up in whatever religion that you were brought up in, and your religion out of all these other religions is the right one? Like, what makes you believe that Catholic is better than Roman Catholic, or Jewish, or Hindu, or Baptist, or Southern Baptist, or Lutheran, or Mormon, or Islamic, or whatever? Like, what makes you believe that you were so fortunate out of the billions and billions of people on this planet to be born in the right place, to believe in the right religion, and somehow your beliefs are the one that's right and everyone else's is wrong? I don't understand how you could think that, because I look at it as everybody on this planet is equal. Now, obviously, there's statuses now that humans have created, and there's society and stuff like that humans have created to establish a line between who's this and who's that. But when it comes to your faith to make you a better person, like, what makes you think that you're right above everybody else? Now, I'll let me go out and say this, because I know somebody's going to spin this on me, probably, because people are horrible sometimes. I'm not saying that murdering is in any way, shape, or form a good thing. It's not. It's fucking horrendous. Genocide, abuse, like things like that, it's not okay. But at the same token, like, I believe that it's all about your environment, how you were brought up and what is exposed to you. There are people who are exposed to very, very horrible conditions that all they know is survival. There are people who are exposed to conditions where all they know is entitlement. There are people who are exposed to things that they're in an environment, but they want to get out of it. Like, there's so many different walks of life, and I apologize if I'm rambling, but by this point, if you're listening to my stuff, you know that I ramble, so it should be fine. But I don't know, it threw me for a loop, because I think about it a lot, and I don't know, I don't believe in an organized religion. And I was reading a bunch of quotes from this website called Good Deeds, and there's a guy named Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I'm messing up his name, I know that for a fact, but I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head. But he pretty much said that evil is not in religion or in status or within society, it's within every human heart. And the problem with religion is that it's trying to weed out that one piece of evil, but the problem is that that evil is always going to reside in a human being's heart because we are imperfect. And I think that's very, very true, and I think that's very valid. But I don't know. We had a great conversation, is the moral of the story, and I just wanted to vent this out because it did get me thinking. And if there is a God, I would like to think that there's only one. But if you believe in Greek mythology, if you believe in any type of religion, then there's times where you'll believe that there's multiple. I personally believe that human beings are gods and we just don't know it. Or we've forgotten that we are. Because the Bible says that we were born in God's image. We don't know who or what God is, We just know that or people believe that he's an entity that just watches over, that created everything and all that kind of stuff, and that just doesn't gel with me. But yeah, the moral of the story is that it got me thinking about like the whole, what type of God do you believe you're worshiping? That just it got me, and it got me thinking. So yeah, so next time you go to like church or anything like that, talk to people around you and ask them at your church or whatever pretty much wherever you want to, really, because humans should be willing to talk to each other, and ask them, are you a God-fearing person? Well, yeah. Okay. What do you believe? Like, what kind of God do you believe in? Do you believe that God is compassionate? Do you believe that he's vengeful? Do you believe that he's imperfect? Because we kind of got on that topic. Do you believe that he's prideful? Like, what type of God do you believe in? And just listen to the responses that you get. Because if we're meant to be united as one, we shouldn't have that many different answers. And I know there are people that are like, well, it's different perspectives, this, that, and the other. I get that. But when it comes to something that's so important and so dominating of people's lives nowadays, you need to really ask yourself, is what I'm believing the right thing, or am I just following a trend here? I don't know, man.